Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with more GT Sport. This time around we're here once again with the Nations Cup series. A bit of an apology for missing out on last week's races, but we are back here today once again. This time around we've got Group 4 cars around Tokyo. I'll be honest, there's a quick look at your points as well. Tokyo, not a track that I'm a particular fan of on GT Sport. None of the variants on this game do I particularly enjoy racing around. They're all just not particularly great racetracks in my mind. Obviously, you've got the barriers right next to you, everything like that. And I mean, if they were a real-world circuit, you'd think fair enough, they could be a bit of fun, you know, if they've got some heritage like Monaco, for example, or things like that. But I mean, these tracks here are pretty undescript, just on the motorways, not really having to do a lot. If you slap a wall, you get a penalty just for trying to push a bit more, which normally means people don't take too many risks either. So, not my favourite track in the world, I'll be honest. Pace, though, did feel rather good. I didn't get much practice in ready for this one here today. I really didn't get a lot of time to jump in. And obviously, this track, I don't think, to be honest, I'd ever done a race before. At least, certainly not this way around either. I'd never been able to do a race before around this circuit. So we'll wait and see as to how things go here today around. I think it's, can't remember what layout. It might be like East Reverse or something like that. They're not giving particularly great names either, I'll be honest, around here. It's a lot of straights, as you'd expect from a track based on motorways. But again, it's not particularly great fun in my eyes. But we'll see how the race goes, see if we enjoy it a bit more. I must admit, trying to get one lap hooked up around here can be rather good fun, you know, especially through the S's towards the end of the lap. In something like this Toyota Group 4 car, was quite good trying when you get, you know, absolutely nailed around a corner. You know, you keep it pinned right to the inside wall without nudging it and obviously forcing yourself wide. It could be quite good fun. But coming towards the end, though, of my only qualifying lap, unfortunately I made a mistake on my first one through the chicane, you know, where you go through the triple right-hander. I actually managed to just take a bit too much curb through the left on the exit, and unfortunately that did give me a penalty, so I pitted in again. Obviously the pit lane around here halfway around the lap as well certainly makes strategy interesting as well. But as we head round in towards the final couple of corners, that slight mistake as we head in through the S's there, you can actually take that corner in fifth, as I'd find out in the race there, and it's actually a lot quicker as well. And in towards the final corner, down in towards third gear there, really try and get the car to the inside wall there, and then swing it back towards the outside as we try and get the shortest run up towards the line there, giving the Belgian just behind us, who was actually already on pole. I'd already given him some slipstream on his first lap there, and it's a 2:04.969, so 3.5 tenths off the current fastest lap there. By the end of the session, the top guys would remain the same. They would actually have a Russian that would sneak through into P2 there, and unfortunately I wouldn't get a chance to finish off my second lap, despite the time still looking rather good there. But I mean, 7 cars separated by half a second over a 2-minute lap is pretty good going around this track as well. But of course it will just be down to what we can achieve in the race. There no mandatory tyres or fuel for this one, but fuel is going to be a very big issue over the course of the race there. But it is the Belgian in the Audi on pole position, ready for this race here today. The Lamborghini Huracan Group 4 car as well, one of my favourite cars in the game, with the Russian in P2. P3 is a Porsche Cayman. They're a very common car choice for this championship once more. There we are in our Toyota GT86 Group 4 car in 4th place. This seems like a good track for the front wheel drives as well. There another Cayman in at P5 there with another Belgian at the wheel of that one. A Frenchman in the GTR makes up the rest of row 3. Further down the order, you've got the BMW M4. Don't see too many of these at the moment, driven by the Spaniard there, but a Ford Mustang. Certainly don't see a lot of those on the game in P8. They're driven by another German there. P9 is a Jaguar F-Type Group 4, driven by a fellow Brit. And then rounding out your top 10, you've got a Mercedes, driven by a Spaniard as well. There Audi TT in row 6 with yet another Spaniard. The Spaniards really do rule GT Sport at this point of the game. Another Spaniard in a Corvette this time round rounds out your 6th row of the grid there. GTR, another GTR driven by another Frenchman in P13. Unlucky for some, hopefully not for him. Another Frenchman there, 14th in an Aston Martin there at the end of row 7. And then right towards the rear of the field, then you got another Spaniard in another Mercedes. 15th, another Jag actually, driven by a German this time around there. I love the silk cut Jag XJR9 paint scheme on that car there. Another Jag 17th, driven by this time around a Spaniard there. Not the most common combo, but nice HRT branding on that one. A pole in a Mazda makes up P18 on the grid there, and let's dive into it. Here we are then on the grid, ready for round 6 of the year from Tokyo. Like I said in the intro, not a fan of any of the tracks around Tokyo here on Gran Turismo Sport, but we qualified quite well. I'll be honest, we do seem to be clicking alright with this one, so we'll wait and see as to how things can go here today. Hopefully again we can try and get another top 3. Yeah, just want to try and get no penalties, nothing like that. Should hopefully mean you can stay right towards the front of this race, but it is lights out. And away we go then. 4 different cars inside the top 4. But again, obviously Slipstream is everything around a track like this with just the nature of how long the straightaways are. So we'll wait and see as to how things go. I think we're, like I said, already in good stead with the pole sitter. Helped him out to actually get his pole position there. We did give him a little bit of slipstream and a bit of a push, even though I'd already ruined my lap. It's all about trying to make friends in these sorts of races, otherwise people can very easily screw you in a lot of these events. Cayman already going a bit slowly as we head up the hill. Have a look at the inside. Try and get it slowed down. Oh, Lambo very, very deep as well. Whoa. A lot of oversteer. But we do get the car out the first few corners, as the Belgium's still in the lead. Hopefully we can try and get close to him, otherwise we're going to be a sitting duck down this next straightaway. It's so difficult. You've really got to hug the inside wall through there. I've had a decent run through. Pulled away a little bit extra to the Cayman behind us. Already down to just 18 cars in this race. But we're not really gaining on the Audi, so the Cayman's probably going to be taking a lot of time out of us at the moment. As all, once we get inside that 3/4 of a second mark, should be able to close up a whole lot quicker. But it's just about trying to get the car there. And we are closing in now a bit more. So clearly the Audi, not brilliant top-end speed. There we go. Under the 3/4 of a second. Slam on the brakes. Oh, the Audi runs very, very deep. Which used the rear end of the car there to get it rotated through. And now we are definitely all over the back of this Belgian. To be honest, like I said, we probably ought to work together early on in this race. Try and pull away from the cars behind. But not a bad lap one. Up a couple of spots. All over the back of the leader as well. Skim the inside wall through there. As yeah, we're clearly looking quick at the moment. Thought about having a look at the inside, but definitely don't want to do it through there. There's no real point in looking for moves like that when you can just do slipstream passes down the straight, as I think the Audi's going to give it to us at the end of lap 1 there. So we are going to lead, just about lead, as we cross over the line to finish off lap 1. But like I said, we just need to work together early on. Like we saw that pole do in the go-kart, in the minis even, I should say, at Miyabi a couple of weeks ago. If you can just work together with someone and try and romp away, that's really, really ideal here as well. The Audi, a bit of a mistake through T1. Give us a bit of breathing room. I think the Belgian behind's made a bit of a mistake, because it's now the Frenchman just behind us, once again in that Porsche. But we've got a 1.3 second margin. If we can just try and romp away in this race, I'd take a rather boring one here, I'll be honest. We can just try and pull away a gap. But again, you can just see now, I think the slipstream's actually a bit buffed around here, because they seem to be closing in a bit quicker, unless the Cayman is just a faster car down the straights. He's not gaining much on me, but he is closing in a bit more than I thought he would be. Oh, that's not a track limits warning. We were on the curb at the very most there. We certainly weren't over it. But that's not going to help us out then in this race. I was supposed about to say fuel, actually. Probably going to be a rather big concern around here as well. But we'll have to see. Obviously, that pans out later on. Obviously, of course, with the pit lane not actually being at the start-finish line, makes trying to do the maths a little bit more difficult around here. But a half-second penalty is probably going to bring us... It's not too bad, the penalty positioning around here, I'll be honest. If it was after the corner that it is, it'd be a whole lot worse. You actually don't lose too much, obviously, depending on how big your penalty is. But we'll have to wait and see. We are still trying to build the gap up at this stage of the day. Just sort of trying to get it a little bit safer if we can, just in case... Oh, so we're on horribly wide through there. So much understeer in the car. Apparently we've got to be a lot more careful over these curbs. Try not to hit the outside wall on the exit. How much are we going to lose here then? Just down the 1 gear. Just make sure we got all the engine revs again. We've lost, yeah, about... Well, not even a half second there in the end, because we actually got a nice run. Yeah, no, about half second out of there. I'm just trying to monitor the fuel, seeing roughly where we knocked down to 1.9 laps worth. Obviously, we've got to try and get to the pit lane. We might have to just fuel save a little bit on the next lap. We ticked over to 2.8 just as we went past the pit lane exit last time round. So we'll see if we're saving any. Of course, if it gets to about here, you can normally just coast it in, I would have thought. But obviously if we're saving a little bit as well, that would be good. Let's have a look. It's pretty much... Oh, we have saved a tiny bit more. Like I said, yeah, we've saved a few hundred feet at most. But we are definitely saving a little bit, so we should be okay fuel-wise. We have just tried to fuel save a little bit over the course of this lap so far, just to make sure we can try and go the one extra to the pit stop. Team is saying we do need to try and pit now, but I'm not going to. We are going to risk it and try and get it one more lap out of the tank. It's always weird trying to get the car slowed down into there. It never feels like it's going to stop, and then suddenly at the last moment it does. Guy behind opts us out for another lap as well. How much extra fuel have we saved then? Another tiny bit more. We're using lean, or mix 2 I should say, through some of the twisty bits. And then obviously just changing it down a gear as well, so we've got a little bit of extra revs in the car. But it is doing the trick. Might just be a case of lifting and coasting, or just freewheeling down towards the hairpin next time round. What's this lap going to be, however? Still down in the low 205s. Pace and consistency actually pretty good early on. We get a nice big run through there once more. This we have. Gap up to about 2.4 now. Might open up to about 2.5 by the time we get to the end of the straight. I think that Porsche behind us has still got a very, very good top end speed. But have we now got enough to try and get to the pit lane? Or if not, how much are we going to lose in the run down there? Down to 1% fuel. Through the kink we go. There we go. Down to 0. Car still seems to have a little bit more to give. So we're really not going to lose anything at all. I'm just going to brim the tank again as we chuck it into the pit lane. Don't bother changing the tyres. It's not worth the time loss. But we are going to obviously completely brim the tank once more in this race. Guy behind had 10 litres still in the cars. People are going an extra lap here. Are they going to be able to one-stop this? That's going to save them a lot of time if they can. If fuel saving is key round here, but we'll wait and see as to how things go. Like I said, completely brimming the tank. Might mean we can get sort of lap 12, lap 13. Then we'll just have to go for a splash and dash towards the end. There's no way I'm going to be able to one-stop this. There's, yeah, another 5.6 laps worth. Are we going to come out in clear air, or are we going to come out in traffic? That's the next question. It is going to be... We're not going to bother defending from this guy. We are going to come out in a little bit of traffic here, but that's fine. Oh, this Mustang is not fast around here. I don't think he really knows where he's going, to be honest, in the nicest way possible. Should be able to get a good run out the final corner. I was hoping we could get a bit more slipstream off him, I'll be honest, but apparently not. We're more than happy to drag you along, buddy, if you want it. But not quite what we need at this stage of the day. Yeah, we're a long way off now. All the front runners. It's just a case of, yeah, whether they can actually one-stop this thing, or whether, obviously, with this being such a weird race, whether they can do 7.5 laps, then only 7 and have to pit with 1 to go or something. I don't really know. It's going to be one of those ones where you just got to see how it pans out, I think. So by the looks of it then, most of the front runners are staying out yet another lap here, so I think we might have just been screwed with this car's smaller fuel tank. We're going to gain a couple more spots back, but if everyone else can go to the end, or midway through lap 8, we are in a world of hurt in this race. Back up into 9th we go, but yeah, I think this is not looking good for us at the moment. The Austrian in the lead's doing another lap here in this race. I mean, we should move back up into P3? Look at that, there's still 2 of them staying out for another lap. How on earth are they managing that on the fuel and maintaining still decent pace? Like I said, we should be now back up into P3. But yeah, not looking good for us at this stage of the day. Rather just going to need a miracle, or to hope people start tripping over each other. Oh, I think the Belgian in front of us might be running out of fuel, because we are getting a huge amount on him as we head down the straight. Either that, or he made a big mistake. Now look at that, yeah, the Austrian still had 7 litres in the tank. That's mad that they've been able to go that far into this race on the fuel there. Not too sure what their cars they're in, but I think this one was always going to be a bit fuel decisive, unfortunately. The Belgian's doing another lap. Surely he's going to run out now. Unless he's been in lean pretty much all day and is trying to do the no-stop. This race makes no sense. To lighten up the mood just a little bit, we do set a new fastest lap of the day, down into the 204s again. But it doesn't really help
much at the moment. Again, this is just going to be one of those races where you only really sort of find out where you are right towards the very end. I feel like the pace is still good in the car. It must be, we're just setting new fastest lap, but trying to make back up all the time you lose through a pit stop is going to be incredibly difficult around a track where a lot of it's just straight speed, straight top end speed, and this car doesn't really have bags of that. Alright, are we finally going to see the Belgian into the pits then? Yes, we are. And he still had 7 litres. That's insane. The fact that this guy's been able to go that far into this race, he's basically done double what I've been able to at this stage of the game. We got 1.6 laps in the car, so we're obviously going to have to dive it in into the next one and just do a bit of a splash and dash to the checkered flag, but that is ridiculous. Well, looking at the mini-map, I still think a top 10 is definitely on the cards here. Might be able to still get towards the top 5. Obviously, we're just going to have to really fly towards the end of the race, obviously, if other cars are still having a fuel save, but we'll wait and see. Obviously, we should have a little bit of a quicker pit stop than last time round. That was not bad. I don't get how on earth it takes that long to get to here in the pit lane. Like, have we got to go 6 doors up inside, or what? It doesn't really make sense to me. But anyway, yeah, 13 litres left in the tank. There we go, into the box. See, again, not bothering with any tyres, no need to. We'll just put some more fuel in to try and get our car to the end of this race. And it's going to be 4.3 laps worth. Where are we going to rejoin? P8 by the looks of it. So we got a few cars not too far ahead of us. If we could still get up towards the top 5, that would be rather good. But yeah, we're really just going to have to try and maximise everything from this car between now and the end. It's a real shame tyre wear hasn't come into this one more, to be honest, because that could have made things rather interesting, obviously, if the guys in front had dying rubber. Also, obviously, we were still going quicker out on track, but anyway, it is what it is at this stage. We are taking a bit of time out of the German and the Spaniard just in front of us. Like I said, I think P5 might still just be on the cards if we absolutely nail it between now and the finish, but we've still got about another 3.5 laps to go here from Tokyo. Let's see if we can try and get up to these two. That's going to help us out. Big old dive bomb by the Jag. Corvette's going to come back at him on the exit. And they're still just costing each other time. Really, I think if we want any chance of trying to get up towards P5, we need to be in the slipstream of these two when we get back out onto the back straight. Obviously, such a big part of this track, as these two are once again battling it out. Try and keep it nice and tidy, try and get a big run behind him if we can. Loving the Jag paint scheme. XJR, such an iconic Le Mans car. But yeah, no, unless we massively butcher this though, we are definitely going to get a good run. Nudging the wall on the way in. Look how slow this guy is through there. No confidence whatsoever in his Jag. Hopefully now we can both try and get up towards the Corvette. Hopefully then we can try and rump away from the pair of them. We can try and sneak through. Come on, Jagman. Perhaps the Corvette's got some good poke down the top end. We are both now gaining on him. I'll try and give this guy a little bit of a bump. Oh, he nudges the wall. Is he going to go for a dive, or are we going to have a look? He's going to have a look. We'll try and get the switch back. Can we do it? Oh, it's going to be close on the exit. We're all closing in on each other. I'll have the inside for the next proper corner, though. Well, come on, man. Give us some room. There we go. Jag backs out. No room around the outside there. Thank you very much. So we'll have to try and nail these next couple of turns. Look how much extra momentum we've got over the Corvette. There we go. Nice run. Try not to give him a bit of a push. So yeah, we haven't really got much overspeed on him, unfortunately. We are there on the inside, buddy. Go deep on the brakes and slot up into P6. As we try to get a nice run on the exit of the corner as well. We'll have to go defensive on him. 3.3, the gap to the next guy up the road. Jag's also got to be careful of him coming back. Let's look how quick that Corvette is down the straights. Oh, we are there, buddy. You can try and turn in on me. They're definitely still there, and I think hopefully we'll leave those two to battle it out. Behind us, the Spaniards lost a load of ground as well. Yeah, hopefully now we can try and leave these two behind. They can battle over the scraps, as we still want P5 in this race. Oh, I just nudged the wall there. That's going to cost us on the exit. Not as much as I thought it would, unless the Corvette did the same. Yeah, this Spaniard now really struggling. There's a big group of 3 cars now, a bit further up the road as well, that might start duking it out. But I think unless something catastrophic happens, we're probably not going to be able to get to them. Right, heading on towards the final lap then of this race. Are we going to get close enough to the Audi to get some slipstream? He's desperately trying to break the toe. We're not close enough this time around. That Audi, a very, very quick car down the straight, of course, front-wheel drive. But obviously through the twisty bits, we do gain a lot on him nonetheless. Let's just see through turn 1. There you go. Are we now inside slipstream range? Just, only just. We're now going to get a little bit of a draft from him, as guys in front are dropping back ever so slightly as well. But we might need to try and work with this guy to try and get up to him on the final lap of this race, unless of course they're under fuel save just up in front. It's a Lamborghini up in 4th, so maybe there's still a bit more to be had in the lying stages here from Tokyo. Audi, horrible run through. Might be able to have a look to the inside, probably not with the top end speed unless he brakes early. Definitely didn't want a down shift there. Oh, a horrible run. That might just have cost us. Right through to the line in this race. Horrible, horrible run through there. That's giving the Audi so much breathing room as well. We won't give up on it just yet. We'll see if we can try and get a bit closer once more. Down in towards the final few turns of this race. So you can just see the gap hovering up and down. So we try to get the faintest of slipstreams off him. Team are warning us about fuel, but that's not going to worry me too much between now and the end. The Lambo definitely is struggling. We need to absolutely nail this final bit of the lap. So it could still be P4 on the cards here. Let's just wait and see what happens. Lambo is dropping back massively. It's all happening right at the end of this race, so I knew it would. But are we going to be the ones to capitalise out of it? Or is the Audi going to claim P4? What's the Lambo going to do? That's the other big question. Through the final proper corner. Need a big old run. Oh, Lambo hits the wall. He's going to cost himself. Can we try and get a run on the Audi as well? I don't think... Oh, we are going to be close. He runs out of fuel. Yes, we do. P4. In the end there, with just enough fuel as we crossed the line there. But yeah, that was clearly a little bit gutting the way it went, I'll be honest. 2 TTs and 2 Caymans around us there, but to recover still to 4th in the end when we lost about 25 seconds. We were definitely the quickest car on the track, I think, at the end of the day. They could see the GTR that pit the same time we did, down in 8th place even. So you can see just how much he lost from all of that as well there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well. And yeah, we will definitely be back very, very soon with more GT Sport.